I had a gentleman a few days ago. They do meat business in London. They were telling me very proudly, Miona Nawaz Sharif used to buy me meat. The employee took the meat every other day. Menah himself would sometimes come, but I don't sell them meat anymore. I asked in surprise why he spoke angrily. I got his employee. As soon as I saw him, Tad Sahib I not step on my doorstep. I did not sell meat to a corrupt and soaked person, and he wrapped his ears and went back. He looked at her for a long time, and then I asked her, who told you that the Mian Sharif is corrupt and soaked? In response he repeated Omar Khan's speech. I tried to explain it, but I felt like I had emphasized it. If it had been more emphasis, it would have been someone named after Anida Javed Will not sell the meat. We can disagree with Omar Khan for a million, but we have to admit a good one. This is the expert of the narrative, and then make it his media, and then he has to admit his own media, and then he has to admit it. Social media brings everyone's language through the team, and it is its only political force. Imran Khan described the fake assembly and 4 constituencies in 2014, and it not far back until he made new elections in 4 constituencies. 35 punctures were also his statement. He also introduced the Panama League term. He also picked up the word and then paired it with the Sharif family. You still type the sayings in Google today. News of Nawaz Sharif and Khawaja Asif Sakama will come out, and it is not only limited, but the term Malana Diesel or Rain be the trend of happens, or the crystal creaming leg slip chairman, and epithelium Abiho. Omar Khan continued to make statements, and his social media team brought it to the minds of the people. You still see his performance today. Omar Khan plotted letters and letters to Maryam and threats to the public. Now truth. The slogan Imran Khan is calling Prime Minister a crime minister and government imported, and both words are now on everyone's language. The import government trend has called it an imported government. All the next record in Pakistan broke out, and the record was not stopped by the entire state power. We must also acknowledge that all other political parties in the country have no break into Omar Khan's technique. The Pakistan People's Party somewhat competes with Omar Khan. The title of the selected Prime Minister was given by Blowl Bhutto, and it is still established to date. The 2021 budget is set to PT. The IMF budget was also said by Blowl Bhutto, and was also very popular. Fawad Chowdhury named the PDM Abu Bakr movement, and the two were called the than blowing the terms. Now the question arises here, how do Omar Khan make such an easily statement, and how do they get it to the public? There are 3 keys behind it. The first is social media. Social media came in 2000, so all children born after 2000 are the production of social media instead of newspaper and television, and these children are currently the hands of Omar Khan. I am. Whenever I get out today, young people recognize me because of Facebook and YouTube instead of television and newspaper. This column is also social rather than newspaper. Read and listen to the media. Young people also ask me in which newspaper you write and on which channel you work on. I was surprised at the beginning, but then one day my son took out my data and said, people don't see you on the newspaper or TV, are tracking you on social media. I found out at the time that I am now at the mercy of social media. The same thing is happening to politicians. Young people are not on TV or newspaper, social media looking and listening to, and this medium is currently only in the hands of Omar Khan. And there is another 10 difference between the rest of the parties and the PTI, and this difference is between the difference growing up day by day. Arusa of today's digital world is listening, and acknowledging the statement of Omar Khan. The second is that the art of speech is known, it speaks without points, and the sound has energy and passion in tone. The words are common and simple, while the rest are normal speeches by all politicians are bored. It hardly speaks the word. Old mill straps tell poets, and there is no connection in the arkings. The connection is not even in the speeches of Omar Khan, but it covers it with sound and energy. I did the most interviews of Omar Khan in the media industry until 2014. I admit that despite being opposed to him today, he did not fix the match once during the interview, and hardly difficult and rude questions. Fees are also shortened, while the remaining 80% politicians respond long and get angry at Cross Quischen, which obviously gives their own image ruins. However, this is also a fact that the Pakistan People's Party's Blowl, Bhutto and N-League's Maryam Nawaz also have energy and flu. There is also an aggression, in the pro-Maryam, but there is a difference of 3 and 10 in them. The difference is also growing, and the third is that Kala Omar Khan has been the spokespersons. The name has made its 10-15 dummies. All these people are like Lod. They also have energy in their voice and are also agonized on the face, so it is also age looking like Khan and pulling the listeners towards him. Imran Khan was aware of the importance of these people, so he had been able to ask the cabinet in 4 years with Zia spokespersons meetings, and these spokesmen are taking over his statement today. We should keep in mind something else here. Materials for social media content are ammunition. You have the largest army in the world, but the army, what good would this army be if there was no pass rifle and bullet? Wouldn't that be an economic burden? Omar Khan understands this fact, so he also created his social media army, and it also provides him with daily weapons, materials, and 18-year-old boys are perfect. PTI has a very high team of content production. These are the extreme devil people. It rubs his nose when it looks behind someone they give, and even in a country like Britain, and a city like London, people gather in front of the house of Miona Nawaz Sharif and storm the rudeness. You've ever thought of how PTI makes people fat and take them to the home and office of the Daily Mian Sharif, and compared to the N-League to date, why couldn't the people gather in the Gala and Zaman Park? This is the perfection of PTI's continental production. Now the question is Omar Khan's method ethical? No way. These movements are also immoral and illegal, but will you just be able to combat social media trolling from ethics? Not like hockey. In a hockey game has to be used in football and cricket matches in a football game, just like the narrative contest statement and the fact that the planes are. Omar Khan is also proving to be imported into a constitutional government, but a democratic government is the watch of the Tosha box. The cufflinks and the theft of the necklace couldn't even prove theft. The previous government gave the country nothing but a loan of 22,000 billion rupees in 4 years, but it is still a believer and the one of the state of Medina, and you have come to the fore for the country by forgetting the ever contradictions. You are proving your sincerity and not skill. He speaks day by standing on the streets, and you leave your job and force him to answer why, because it is the work of Imran Khan's statement. The 2000 truth and lies were lying in the world, but after the invention of social media, the truth is now that people believe the truth, no matter how much they lie. And lies are what listeners and viewers consider lies, no matter how big the truth, and Omar Khan is Einstein of this science.